and welcome to the Great Author Show. And I'm your host, Dr. Anthony Elgan, here on IntellectualRadio.com. And this is the place where we interview independent authors from around the books they have written and show you that there's some greatness that you may not know about, but don't mean that they're not great. So tonight I have as my guest, Romeo Hall. Thank you for being here. Romeo, how's it going?
It's going all right.
That's good. So after about 30 minutes into the segment, you can put your mic closer. Yeah.
Right there?
Yeah. So about 30 minutes after the show, you can call and ask questions, 708-223-53. Again, that's 708-223-8953. So again, this show is being sponsored by UnknownGreatness.com, where we help independent authors sell their books from around the country to different people around the country, because I am a fan and a proponent of independent authors. And also by Get It Done Publishing Services, where they actually help you publish your book if you should have one. And as well as Proper Introductions for You, where they promote your business and your book throughout the country. So tonight, again, we have Romeo. Romeo is going to share with us some of the things that's in his book. Awesome book, awesome person. Not just saying it because he's on the show. I've spoken with Romeo. We had many conversations. We don't have 5-minute conversations. So the conversation we have on the air today is probably about the shortest one we had. So he's going to share with us some of the things about his book. So welcome to the show, Romeo. I appreciate it, you being here. So tell us, who is Romeo? So tell us about who you are.
Well, Romeo Qua. Mm-hmm. And Qua is an acronym. It's KWAU.
Okay.
Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm a laid-back individual. You know, I've been working most of my life.
Okay.
I try to take after my mother. She would work 24 hours if she could.
Okay.
So I've had quite a few jobs. My favorite job was as a trolley driver. I used to ride the trolleys, Chicago trolley.
Okay.
And, you know, picking up the people, seeing people smile every day. It's a beautiful thing. You know, we used to travel around the museum campus and show them the different spots in Chicago. Okay. You know, my next job that I really enjoyed was being a school teacher. I was a school teacher for 9 years. It was beautiful, you know, dealing with the children and helping them out and helping them grow. That was great.
What grade did you teach?
I mainly taught fourth grade, but I was licensed to teach K through 12. Well, I was in the military.
Oh, what branch?
I was in the Army.
Army.
I had a great time traveling around the world.
How long were you in the Army?
I was in the Army for 4 years. I signed up for 8, 4 years active, 4 years inactive,
That's good. The Army was good. I mean, probably not better than the Navy, but
Hey, we stayed on land.
I'm a little biased. I'm a little biased since I'm a Navy dude. So, but that's good. That's good. But so, what about the military did you like or helped you, become the person that you are today?
Well, I was a fan of Julia Childs, so I've been cooking since I was 7 years old.
Okay.
So I went into the military to become a cook. Mm-hmm. And after I did the military, I went to SIU. And I took up hotel, restaurant, travel administration so I could further my culinary career, After college.
I didn't know you did culinary now. As often as we talk, I didn't know you did the food thing.
Well, my mother said, be talented at a lot of things. I've been cooking and I've been writing for a very long time.
That's good.
But now I'm in my most important role, and that's a father. I have a 9-year-old daughter, and she's a beautiful, beautiful child.
Something being a father, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
yes,
I like being a father too. So that's a good thing. So let's get into the book. I like your acronym or your last name as you have it, KWAU, knowledge, wisdom, understanding. So I like that. So, and I can say this because I've talked to you numerous times that that's what you bring, and not trying to appease you or just trying to say something to make you feel good. But every time you talk, you bring knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So obviously in your book, I know that's the same thing. And if people got to know you and talk to you, they get the same thing. And obviously in the book, we're going to go through it. So tell us a little something about the book. Like, I like the title, Trapped in an Open Cell.
Yes.
How did you come up with that title?
Well, um, I've been married for 11 years now, and it wasn't always great. In the beginning, it was very rocky, and it came to a situation where I was kind of indecisive. I was wondering, what the future may hold. The reason that I call my book "Trapped in an Open Cell" is because, when you're in a relationship, you learn different things about the other person, and sometimes at the beginning you don't always know because a lot of people wear masks, and eventually that mask will fall off. Now you have to decide if you're going to still deal with this person even though it's not the person that you initially met. So now you're married, okay? And in this book, it's kind of like marriage is a sale because now you don't bought the house, you have the child, you know what I'm saying? The different things that you have to
Accumulate
come
together.
together with, and now you want to leave, but you really can't leave because your ideal of marriage is something different, and you want to make that ideal blossom in the relationship that you're in instead of trying to go find something new.
I like that because leaving what you have, you still take you with you where you go, right? So you can leave somewhere and say, "I'm leaving this situation," but you're still taking you wherever you go.
Yes.
Chances are you're going to have the same results just with a different person because you're going over there. Right? If you can leave
Exactly.
you and then go, then maybe something else will happen. But when you're taking you with you, then that's a different thing. So I, I'm going to go on to say your book has something to do with relationships,
Yes.
and tell us a little bit about that because a lot of times, relationships is a topic, Romeo, that a lot of people like to talk about.
Yes.
I really think it's something that you should learn how to talk about as early as possible in life because the chances are you're going to be in one as you get older. You're going to be
Yes.
in a relationship. I mean, you learn math and science and everything, but very seldom does someone teach me about relationships. And by the time I'm 18, 19, 20, 30, whatever it may be, I'm going to be in a relationship.
Yes. I remember back in the day with a gentleman friend of mine, we used to hang out, we used to hang out at each other's house. And from time to time, we'll get on the topic of relationships and, how things were bugging us and what we would like to change. And most of the time, it was like the other person wasn't listening. It's like, well, we can talk, but if you don't hear me, it's not worth anything. And in my relationships, I try to listen to the person that I'm with. Now we don't always agree, but we should be able to disagree without conflict.
Mhm.
Our voices shouldn't have to raise or anything like that. We should be able to just sit and talk.
Well, how do you think people can learn something about that? Because sometimes people, based on their environment, the only way they can solve something, or if they disagree with someone, is by yelling, screaming, throwing things, maybe totally shutting down, not speaking. How can people get to a place where they get beyond that level of relationship and get into something better than that?
You have to pay attention to the results.
What do you mean?
You after the chaos or the different situations, you sit and reflect. Like, okay, I was yelling at my partner, and now she's mad at me, walking around the house. We're not speaking. Are those the results that you want? So it's always a experiment. You're always trying to figure out, you know, what can you do to get this reaction? What can you do to get this reaction? You know.
Okay.
So you have to study yourself and study the things around you.
I like what you have in one of your chapters here, conversations with a victor. Conversation with victim, sorry. What was that about?
Well, that was a conversation with my brother in the book. Well, my character's brother. Let me clarify that.
Not my real brother. Oh, brother, don't
You
call
know,
in getting mad at me now. All right. All your friends and family
so
like, hey man, you talking about me? Well, okay, but go ahead.
Victor, he's a very close friend from my childhood, and he's always been like a mentor, even though we were around the same age. He has a lot of wisdom. And every time I get into a situation or whatever, and I keep saying every time my character will get into a
Hey,
situation.
you wrote your book so real. You say the character is you. That's pretty good, Romeo.
It's part of me. It's my heart.
Right. I
So
understand as an author.
so I would counsel with him to try to get a better understanding of what I'm going through.
Let me ask you this before we go further. What's the character's name so the audience can know?
The character, his name is Chris Hill.
Chris Hill. Okay.
Yes.
All right, Chris. No, I was joking.
And
okay, so this is Chris's best buddy here, because I don't want people to get confused either, saying, "Wait, I thought he had a character." No, wait, is it him? So we're talking about Chris in the book, everybody, just so you know.
Yeah.
But so Chris's friend or mentor. Go ahead and continue.
Yes. Every time that Chris would get into a situation, he would call upon him and other characters in the book, because the main character, Chris, is well liked. And he's a very laid back gentleman, and he wants to teach or guide,
Mm-hmm.
And when things around him doesn't reflect
Right.
the advice or knowledge that he's given, it frustrates him. So that's how he got into the situation that he was in, and he's trying to make it right.
That sounds so real, even though you have characters in the book. I believe, and I might be a little bit biased saying this, okay, because I know you, right?
Okay.
I believe that people can still learn something regarding their relationships, regarding their life by reading the book. Even though there's a character called Chris, I think they can learn a lot from Chris's life by how you place it in the book. But would you agree with that?
Yes, I believe that many people can relate to the book. And I've been getting positive feedback from different people as they read. And it's very interesting because some people have really gotten into the pages.
Right. Just like the author, right?
So it's very refreshing. It's very refreshing. I love to get the feedback, even if it's not positive. I mean, I've had a young lady. She said the character is a player, and I was like, what do you mean by that? She said, well, he has his cake and eat it too. I said, well, did you read the entire book? She said, not yet, but
she's making an observation off the first chapter, right?
So, but it was interesting to get that feedback. I mean, I love feedback because I'm working on my second and third now simultaneously. And
that's good to hear. That's good to hear. Romeo, and I joke with authors pretty much when I interview them, because most authors that I interview that have a relationship with me in any capacity always say, you're gonna get past one. You can't stay at one book talking to me, right?
yes,
You're gonna start talking about 2, 3, 4, 5. Eventually, I want you to have your own library, and you can, because that much is in you. And obviously, I want people to obviously look at you too and say, wait a minute. Well, he was a school teacher. He was a culinary arts person, a chef. Wait a minute, look at what he's doing. I have a book in me too. Maybe I can get started in 3, 4, 5, 6 years from now. I have 2, 3, 4, 5 books out and getting positive feedback and getting so involved with my book that I call it me. Right?
well, anyone that I encounter that is very interested in writing, I tell them the only way to get started is to start writing.
I like that.
Just start. It'll come.
Especially when you make it, when you come from yourself. This is your baby.
Yes.
like your daughter.
Yes.
This is, and I think a lot of times people don't understand when you write books, it's like birthing a baby yourself. Even as a man, even though men don't birth babies in real life, but when you put the book together, it's like birthing a baby. You remember when you got the title. You
Yes.
remember when you changed chapter 8 and made it chapter 4,
Okay.
right? You remember when you changed things around, when you came up with the name Chris Hill, right? You remember all that, and then when it comes out and you see it in a book, it's almost fascinating because it was really just an idea.
It's a funny story about Chris Hill.
Okay, let me hear it.
My legal name is Curtis Hall.
Okay.
When I was in grammar school, I believe four of my teachers, four different teachers, referred to me as Chris Hill on the first day. And they would ask, is there anyone whose name I didn't call? I raised my hand. They called me up to the desk. Well, I don't see your name. It's right there. Oh, Curtis Hall. Okay, go have a seat. And me, I'm very sarcastic. I'm like, this lady is teaching me, and she can't even read my name. But, that's a.
Can't do that in fourth grade, man. It gets you in a lot of trouble.
I didn't say it. It was all in my
It
mind.
probably was on your face though when the teacher looked at it like, I think that's what he was saying in his head, right?
Pretty much.
Right.
Pretty much.
So that's where you came up with the name.
Yes.
Isn't that interesting?
Yes.
You came up with the name because of a mistake that happened in fourth grade. And you've been out of fourth grade for a little while, right?
Quite some time. Quite some time now.
Right. And so you use that. And that's what I mean, that you use that incident and made that person the character in the book.
Yes.
That does, now that's pretty odd. I never heard something like that before. As many authors as I've interviewed. That's pretty awesome.
Like my alter ego.
That's why you keep saying me, right? Okay, well let's go into something else in the book. Because I like the relationship topic, and sometimes one reason why I like talking to you because you do give knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And a lot of times when it comes to relationships, it's not a lot of substance spoken about in relationships. It's so shallow, it's almost ridiculous, right? That
Mhm.
the information that's given because relationships are so serious with people, it actually makes and breaks the life of people. You get into the wrong relationships, man, you can walk around life 20, 30 years straight up depressed, right?
Well, I feel like, you can't run from a relationship so soon. You have to let some things play out,
Mhm.
because like the divorce rate and things of that nature, it's like, no one gives it a real chance, except for the people who are being victims. They stayed
Stay
for a
forever,
long
right?
time.
Yeah,
And
they stay
it's
a long
like,
time,
well, that situation you might want to get out of,
right?
but just, you squeeze the toothpaste in the middle. I mean, I want a divorce. It's like, wait a minute. No.
Do you think people, when it comes to marriage, do you think, since we're talking about marriage and relationships in this uh, context, do you think people just want to get married for the sake of maybe the wedding, or for the sake of saying I have somebody, or wanting to be called a husband or a wife?
Well, those are some of the factors. I also believe that people get married because they don't want to be alone.
I like that. That's good.
You know, I,
Explain that to the audience a little.
well, I have gentleman friend in my gentleman friends in my life, and they've been through their life single. Now they're up in age, 60s, 70s. They want to get married, and I'm like, well, do you want children? Nah. What do you want out of marriage now?
At 70,
Because
at
you
71.
you're supposed to like grow with your bride, grow with your husband and become a unit. It's like you just want somebody around. And they be like, yeah, yeah. you know.
That sums it up.
They want somebody when they get older, because they don't have any children or things of that nature. So, they want a wife to kind of like take care of them in their later years.
So what do you think when looking at that? Because obviously you're not quite that old. What do you think people? What have you gleaned from those situations when you look at people in those situations?
Well, I think a lot of those gentlemen went through similar things that I did. As far as like when I wanted to get married, the older men that were married or have been married was like, no. I was like, why? They like, look at you. You got a great job. You know, you're attractive. You very educated. You're this, you're that, da 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 da. Like, why you want to throw all that away? And I didn't understand it. I didn't understand it, because I've had good relationships, very good relationships. But that's when I was distant, as far as like when I got to college, I told the young ladies that, I'm here for my college education. I say, but if you want to socialize, we can, but this is first, you know. So
Well, that's
I
that's a discipline. I think the older you get, this is my take on relationships. That sometimes you start seeing people when they're young, and you can understand when people are young, they kind of like everywhere. They looking left, right, up, down, all over the place. I think as you get a little bit older, you kind of know what you want, know what know what you like to do, know what work you like to do. And a lot of times, what I found, because I'm still a young dude, I'm a little over 50, but I'm still, in my mind, I'm still a young dude. Let my kids tell it. They tell me, my children, I'm sorry, let them tell it. I'm old to them. But I find that a lot of people don't invest in themselves a lot
okay.
to become better people. And since they don't, when they meet people that actually do that and sold on what they do, maybe love what they do, love living life, they have a problem with that. It's a lot of friction because I think I wouldn't have said this 25 years ago because I've been working with people in this space, for a quarter century, right? Or more.
Okay.
I wouldn't have said this 25 years ago, how many people, how desperate I see older people. When I say older, I'm not talking about 75.
Hmm.
I'm talking about once they pop over about 45, 50. It's desperation is like written all over their face. Their actions are desperate. Like you said, those people, I just want somebody around.
Hmm.
I just want to be by myself. Now, it's nothing wrong with wanting to be with people,
Hmm.
but just to want to be with people because I don't want to be by myself, well, that might be really unfair to the other person,
Mm.
right? Because you don't want to be with them, right? You just want them around because you don't want to be by yourself, right?
Right.
Now, is that really fair to the other person? Like, oh, I thought it had something to do with me. No, I don't have nothing to do with you. I just don't want to be in this house by myself, right? Well, maybe they should go get a dog, right?
Well,
Something like that.
that's an interesting point. I really didn't look at it that way because of the gentleman that I'm speaking of.
Mhm.
Because he's a good person. He cooks for the woman and everything. He treats her like a gentleman,
Right.
and the other one does too. But I was like, do you really want to get married? You know, and I understand them to a certain degree, what I'm saying? That's what you're supposed to do. But, the things that you do while you're in a marriage, that's kind of passe now. It's like you just you just hanging out, you know. You just a buddy now, So that's how I look at that. Like
Let's go get a dog, man. No, but but so let's go back to the book and relationships like trapped in an open sale. So are we saying being in a relationship is like being in a cell and I'm trapped, or once I understand how to be in a better or healthy relationship, then I'm actually the cell opens. I mean, I'm freer. I mean, what does it mean by that?
well, it is not really, pertaining to being in a relationship only. It's being in a so-called bad relationship.
Okay, got it.
Now there's no abuse or anything like that, but well, I guess mental and
Emotional and
and and emotional abuse. But it's like a man wants to think that he's strong. I could deal with it. You know what I'm saying? I could take care of that. I could do this. I could do that. But when you're in a relationship, it's like, oh my God, what's next?
Right.
Sometimes it gets to that point
Mhm.
because if you're not able to communicate, that's a big wedge in a relationship.
That's true.
So you find out that you can't communicate and you want to leave, but you have a daughter. It's not your daughter's fault for the situation. You have a son.
Mhm.
It's not your son's fault. And the character, he grew up on Channel 11. He grew up on the after school special. He grew up on a lot of like Disney per se. And he knows that those characters went through a lot, but in the end, it was happily ever after. And that's what he's striving for. Happily ever after.
I like that.
You know.
I like that. Um, if you want to call in to ask Romeo some questions here, again, we're on IntellectualRadio.com. And I'm sure you know that already, but I'll say it again. And the number is 708 223 8953. 708 223 8953. Here's something for you too, Romeo. When it comes to relationships, and I like about being in a bad relationship. I really believe if you don't know how to do something right, you're probably going to do it wrong.
Okay.
And I think a lot of times people don't communicate. And I know sometimes men have problems with communicating. I give this example. The little girl is riding her bike. She's 8 years old, right? She's riding her bike around on the street, on the sidewalk. She hit the curb, fall off the bike, scrape her knee.
Okay.
Everybody on the porch say, "Oh, get her, get her, get her, get her, get her, get her! Oh, get the blood!" She's crying. "Oh, my leg is bleeding." And people, they tend to it. Might give her a popsicle or something after they get all fixed up. Little boy riding right behind her 5 minutes later. Same street, same curb, boom, hit the same spot, fall off the bike, scrape his knee. He started crying. Everybody on the porch say, "Hey, boy, get up. Wipe those tears off your face. Get back on that bike. Stop all that crying."
That was my childhood.
Right. Doing all that crying for. Now, keep in mind, same 8-year-old boy, same 8-year-old girl hit the same place, same result happened. But the response from the adults was totally different because of the gender.
Yes.
And I think that's why people have a lot of challenges in regards to the relationship. So we got a caller calling in. So let's take this call and see what we have here. Okay, thanks for coming to the show. Great authors. Who's on the phone?
This is Tisha.
I'm sorry, say that again. Hello, are you there? Hello.
Okay. Yes. So I'm Tisha. How are you?
I'm
I
fine.
am very interested in your topic. I have a question for well, really a compliment for Dr. Nicole Armstrong. Is she there?
Okay. No, okay, yeah. Okay, we'll make a change. Okay. So yeah. Yeah, a little mix up there, y'all, but it's okay. But so as I was saying, like,
I'm glad she's congratulated.
yeah, correct. So yeah, congratulations. It's okay, sounds good. But like I said, that they fell in the same hole, right? Fell on the same curb. But the response from the audience or the neighborhood or the parents or grandparents was totally different.
Yes.
So at 8 years old, you learn at 8 for a lot of men,
Mhm.
I'm not crying when I'm hurt.
Right.
I don't care how hurt I am.
Exactly.
Nothing bothers me because I'm tough and I don't want to be crying, right? So even though the little boy get on the bike and he keep going, leg hurting, bleeding, right? He's riding off crying
Mm.
because so that they can't see him crying, right?
Right.
Now, if he has some friends with him, he better not be crying with those friends because they're gonna call him a crybaby and use some derogatory terms towards him because he's hurt. Oh, I feel now he's 12 years old. Play some basketball, get fouled real hard, fall on his arm, sound like he might have broke it. But you know what he says? I'm good,
Mm-hmm.
right? 18 years old now. Got a girlfriend. She broke his heart, right? I'm good. 23. another girlfriend. I'm good. And he keeps this up for 15, 20, 30 years. Never get good at communicating that, hey, I'm hurt.
Mm.
Hey, that hurt my feelings. What you just did or what you just said, that hurt me. Because if he ever admits in his mind that I'm a hurt person, he looks at that as being weak. So now he can't communicate to a woman. A woman say he never communicate with me. I don't know anything about him. Well, I don't know why he don't say nothing to me. So sometime if the woman isn't healthy, she does things way out in left field because she's trying to get a response.
Okay.
Because he act like nothing bothers him.
Okay.
I mean, we about to lose a house. Don't bother him, right? He lost a job. Don't bother him. Not realizing that my lack of being able to communicate well hinders every relationship that I'm in, even from my friends, my family, spouses, or whatever it may be, children. And this is why I like how you're saying about relationships, how bad relationships will have you be in bad relationships with everybody you with, children, parents, friends,
That's one of
co-workers.
the reasons that I wrote this book, because the main character
Hmm.
is total opposite. He's honest and he always communicates his feelings and everything that's involved or what's going on upstairs, because he knows the other person is not a mind reader.
That's good.
So he conveys all that to them. Now, on the other hand, the woman,
Okay.
who's his heart, pride and joy, you know, she has a problem with communicating and the truth at different points in time in the book. So he's trying to be the stand-up guy and keep everything together. He's trying to be the rock.
I like that because I'm going to go out on a limb and you can correct me if I'm wrong with this. Your book is probably sharing with people that there are good men around.
Well, there are some chapters in the book.
Just say there's some raggedy dudes, huh?
Well, what goes on in the book is his wife becomes so frustrated, she allows him to step out on the marriage.
Okay.
And he got tired. He took her up on it, and then he would come and tell her what was going on.
That's
Now,
kind of bold in the book. What that woman do to him?
now, she said that she wanted honesty, but when honesty came, she didn't too much care for it.
That's kind of a lot of honesty to be able to take.
But he wasn't doing anything with the young ladies. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? At first, he wasn't doing anything with the young ladies because he was just having a good time playing darts, drinking, and he would come home and say, like, "Baby, this is what I like. This is how I want you to be. You know, this is who you were when we first dated. What happened to that person?" Basically.
That's pretty interesting. So in the book, she was a certain way before. That's why you said taking off mask.
Yes.
Would you say that in real life, Romeo, that a lot of times people do that to make the sale?
Yes. I mean, everybody put their best foot forward whenever they're going out with a stranger. They want to look a certain way and they want to attract a certain response, but that's not always the real them. It's a part of them somewhere because they wouldn't be able to do it
Right.
without it. But, when they relax, that's the state that you see the real person when they relax. Like, wait a minute, you used to do your hair all the time. Well, I don't have time.
I don't have to do my hair anymore. I got you.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Why you go to bed with rollers? You never wore rollers. Different things come out as time goes on,
Right.
because now they relax.
I would probably go out to say that a lot of times people are afraid to be themselves because they think if they be themselves, you won't like me. Right? People
That
won't
happens a
like me,
lot.
right? If I just be me, then how many people will like me just being me? And I think when you get comfortable, and everybody don't reach it at the same time. I think I was in my early 30s when I finally got comfortable being me.
Mm.
Some people get it earlier. Some people catch it later. Some people don't catch it at all. Because I think a lot of times you live your life, people teach you how to be other people,
Mm.
right? When you're a child, you're so honest and sincere and so pure. You don't like something, you say it. Oh, that's nasty, right? It's stinking here, right? I mean,
Okay,
right?
blunt,
You just
very
very blunt.
blunt.
I mean, but then people teach you how. Hey, when we go to grandma's house, hey, don't be saying nothing about those dishes in the sink, right? Don't say that about grandma's house. So you learn how to kind of maneuver.
Right.
Don't say nothing about her hair, right? Don't say nothing about grandma's house stink. Right? You don't say nothing like that, right? So now I take that to my friends. They have on something that really doesn't look good on them,
Mm-hmm.
and I say, "Girl, that thing look good on you."
Mm.
Or if they say, "Hi, look," it's good. It's okay because I learned how not to be me. Because if I just be me and say, you might need to tone that down or lighten that up or bring that up to another level. People may get offended at me, right? So I think a lot of times people are afraid of being themselves because I think they may feel they're gonna lose people. No,
Well, I believe you can be yourself
I,
with tact. You know.
okay. Oh, okay. So we got another caller now. This one for us, right? All right. Thanks for calling the Great Author Show. And who we have on the phone?
Hello?
Hello. Hello.
Hello, can you?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Hello, Romeo.
Hello.
This is LaShawn Johnson calling out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Good to meet you. Good to hear you.
What you got? What's your question there, LaShawn?
That's one of my friends.
Oh, okay.
Well, first, I'm going to call to congratulate the author on the success of his finally completing this book.
Thank you.
I've been with him throughout this travel, and it's been a great experience. He's a great brother, great mind. We both know who this book is about.
Maybe you, Chris, here. No,
I'll leave it at that.
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so seriously, as a battered husband, and I think he knows a lot about that. You know, men tend to stay in relationships because it's the right thing to do.
Okay, that's interesting. Explain that briefly.
Well, when you, especially when you have children, I was bred to be a husband by six beautiful women, my mom and my aunt and my grandmother, and it's a experience to know what women want and try to give them what they want, and also give them what they need. As men, we try to do that to some degree, and so also what Romeo said earlier. We try to stay strong with it. Oh, we got it. We're gonna take care of it. And it's a good thing, but sometimes a bad thing because your mental health is always a factor. Sometimes we think rationally, women think emotionally.
Okay.
So we're always calculating the ways to do things. Well, women are always going off of emotions. A lot of them anyway.
Right.
So I congratulate Romeo on writing this book. Hopefully it'll open some men's eyes, and they'll see some things in themselves, and then we can grow as men and maybe have better relationships, better perspectives in our relationship.
I like that. Thank you, LaShawn. I appreciate the call from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So thanks for listening in.
Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you.
Romeo, I love you, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
Love you too, brother.
Yeah, that's all right. That's right. Pennsylvania, huh? Philadelphia.
Yeah.
That's good. So I like how you said that the book will open up the eyes of some men, help them see themselves in different aspects.
Yes.
Because a lot of times men don't get together and talk honestly. I think at one point in my life, before I got around some good brothers too, I thought that I was the only one thinking and feeling a certain way.
Mm.
Right? It's only me,
Okay.
right? So I don't know if it's right or wrong because I don't think anybody else feeling this way or thinking this way. And then when you get around some other people, you can tend to share with people where you are and they can share with you where they are and they can help you, right?
Yes.
I really believe in the statement iron sharpen iron.
Yes.
I believe in that wholeheartedly. I think if you want to get sharp, get around sharp people.
Yes, sir.
You
That
know,
that makes a lot of sense.
yeah,
You know.
I think that's how you get to the next level. That's how you get to places that you never been. That's how you get some things off of you because we all you never hear the term you got issues or I got issues, right?
Everyone has
Everyone
issues.
has issues, right?
That brother right there, that's my brother from Limblom.
Yeah,
He's one of those people that helps keep me sharp.
there you go. And see, that's
Uh,
good because here's the other thing: you help keeping him sharp too.
yeah, I think he would agree with
Yeah, oh
that.
yeah. Because see, you can't be a sharp person not hanging around sharp people.
Right.
It really doesn't go together because you're gonna have to separate because either you're gonna just get dull or the other person will have to get sharp, right? So he's keeping you sharp, you keeping him sharp, and I think that's what a lot of people. That's why I'm so big on reading, reading books, learning things. I don't have to live your life to learn from your story.
There you go. There
You
you
get what I'm
go.
saying? I don't have to go through all the mistakes you did to learn from you and say, wait a minute, I get all this wisdom and understanding, right? All this knowledge from you, and you went that way and fell in a couple of holes, got confused, and showed me how not to get confused. Man, you just saved me 5, 10, 15 years.
Mm.
Think about that.
Yeah, that
I,
makes a lot of sense.
isn't that's powerful? So that's why I'm so big on reading because reading, I tell people reading is the word read is the root word to the word ready.
Okay.
And a lot of times people come to me and say, man, Dr. Game, man, I'm ready for this. I'm ready for the next level. I'm ready to write a book. I'm ready to, earn so much money. I'm ready to do all these things, ready to get into a relationship. And the first thing I ask them, what have you read
Mm.
about that? And usually, you know what the answer is?
Nothing.
Nothing. So wait, you're ready for $1 million, but you haven't read anything on how to handle $1 million or $100,000 or $10. You're ready to write a book, but you haven't read a book on how to write a book. Haven't talked to Romeo. Hey, Romeo, how you write a book? You're ready to actually open up a business, but haven't read anything on business. You're not ready. And I tell people all the time, readers are leaders. If you want to lead, you better read. If you don't read, you're going to be led by those who have read. If you don't know what they have read, they will lead you astray.
Makes a lot of sense.
So that's why I like that KWAU, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, especially the K. Lady told me, I got a bunch of knowledge.
Hmm.
And I said, no, you don't know what knowledge is. Knowledge is to get intimate with information.
Hmm.
See, you see, because I said, what you have is a lot of information. Because if you had knowledge, you don't know it. You just know of it. I can know of a person. I know you, man. When you've been talking and conversing for hours.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? We built a relationship, and it will get even bigger and better as time progressed. You and LaShawn built a relationship. You know him. He know you. Now, some people that seeing you for the first time, they know of you. They, yeah,
I myself lean towards wisdom,
I like
and I
what you.
know it's supposed to be feminine, but I lean towards wisdom because you know going through life experience
Mhm.
is a great teacher, but each of these has their downfall,
That's fine.
like knowledge. Like we were taught in school in 1492, Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue. Then, as we grew older, it was Americo Vespucci, it was Leif Erikson, it was so many other people, you know, and then people get stuck on the word discover. They think about it like, somebody found it. And that's actually true. They discovered something that they did not know about.
Right.
That's all it means. It's not like they own it or this, that, and the other. They discovered something that they didn't know about,
That's true.
you know. So with the story of Christopher Columbus, it comes out that he accidentally discovered America. He wanted to be in the West Indies, and that's why the Native Americans are referred to as Indian now. You know, and that's the downfall of knowledge. With wisdom, it relies on experiences with people. You know, like I can experience a bad time with a white person.
Mhm.
You know, and then next I experience a bad time with another white person. You know, but those are just two individuals. I can't look at it like all white people are bad or all Indians are bad or all Mexicans are bad. You know, I can't stereotype the whole group because of a few individuals that I've encountered. You know, that's why knowledge and wisdom work together, you know, so you can get a better understanding.
That's right. You know, it's a scripture in the Bible. I'm no theologian or anything like that. It said, wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, in all you're getting, get understanding. And I'm with you with that, with the wisdom. You know, wisdom has two words: is wiz or wise, which mean good judgment, and dom, which means part of the word means dominate.
Okay.
It also has a relationship with the word dome in the human being. It's the cranial cavity,
Okay.
the head, right?
Yes.
So that means that you have good judgment in the cranial cavity, right? In the
Okay.
head, right? You, like you
Yes.
said, experiences, right? And you allow that to dominate your life. And even though I don't have to drive drunk to realize it's not a good idea, right?
Okay.
I have enough evidence in life by other people that it might not be a good idea.
Okay.
So I'll use that good judgment and make sure I don't do it, right?
Yes.
So, oh, we got another caller. Got another caller calling in. Let's see who we have here. Thanks for calling Great Author Show. And who do we have on the phone?
Um, I almost want to remain anonymous, but I'm not. This is my name is Pam.
Hey, Pam, how you doing?
I'm
Hey.
well. How are you, Doc?
I'm good. I'm good.
So I have a question about this book. It seemed really interesting. The title. I tried to open a screen. It's trapped in an open cell. Could you elaborate a little bit, because that's a really interesting title.
Thank you. As I was saying before, Trapped in the Open Cell is a book about, well, it's an urban romance. I'll say it like that. And it's a book about relationships. This one in particular relationship that the main character, Chris Hill, goes through with his wife. And they try to find a meeting point, you know, as far as when they first got together, they were different people, you know, and Chris fell in love with his wife and he wanted to get married. And during that relationship, they had their ups and downs, but he said, you know, he's going to be a man, he's going to marry her. So they got married, bought a house, had a child. Later on in the relationship, she changed, you know, and he wanted the person that he met back because the new person wasn't the one he fell in love with.
So it's interesting because I heard you. I've been in and out of the radio station, just kind of multitasking, and I thought it was a really good conversation. I heard you all talk about wisdom and knowledge and understanding, and I just want to hone in because not necessarily my experience, but I've been made aware of this concept of polyamorousness,
Okay.
and I just think that it's really interesting because we can really only come from a place of our own understanding, but I find it to be an interesting concept because, and I'm not sure if you allude to it or talk about it in the book, but I just think that it's interesting because I did hear you say that the wife had given the husband like a hall pass of sorts,
Yes.
which kind of opens up the relationship, sort of.
Yes. Yes.
And a lot of times, especially in the Christian community, it's frowned upon. And there's really no one way to have a polyamorous relationship, but it does open up with the idea being that maybe one person can't meet all of your basic needs. One can be conversation, one can be physical, one can be, you know what I mean? And
Exactly.
that's not my situation. But I find it to be an interesting concept, like and I thought about it because you all talked about wisdom, and the wisest man known on the face of the earth had 700 wives.
So there, a lot of
it. And 300 concubines. You know what I'm saying? And God loved them. So I just think that it's a concept that is interesting, to say the least, and nothing more.
Okay. That's good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pam. I appreciate that input. Very enlightening.
It is my pleasure. Always a pleasure. Great book. It sounds like a really interesting read. Congratulations to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I hope you go out and get one.
Okay. Greatauthors.com.
Yeah. Yes. Unknowngreatness.com. That's right.
Greatness. Okay. All right. Blessings to you.
Blessings.
Thanks, Pam.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Yeah, that was good. I like the way that she interjected that as well. So, I mean, that's one thing about reading the book. You can get different perspectives, different views.
Yes.
Especially something on relationships, whether it's a romance novel or something real life. Because, see, relationships is something that most people, I don't want to say all because I don't know everybody, will probably be involved in once, twice, 10 times in their lifetime, right? They're going to be involved with it to some capacity.
Yes.
So that's why I think that this is good. So how do we contact you, Romeo? How can people get in contact with you if they want you to speak somewhere? Maybe do a book signing at their locations. How can someone get in contact with you?
Yes, I'm on Facebook. I'm Romeo Qua on Facebook, and I also have a Hotmail address, RomeoHall@hotmail.com. There's a few ways to get in contact with me, but most of all, the excuse me, the Facebook page is probably the best way.
Okay, that sounds good. That sounds good. And obviously, you can get Romeo's book on unknowngreatness.com. Romeo will sign the book once you purchase it as well.
Yes.
Right, and then you'll be able to keep up with Romeo. Romeo will be able to let you know once you purchase this book, like any author from Unknown Greatness. They keep you abreast of some of the things they do personally. You can follow them directly and know when book 2 come out, book 3 come out, book 5, book 10. Right, Romeo will make sure that he'll build a relationship with you as well in the future. So let's sum it up, Romeo. Let's close it out because our time is running.
One more page, Romeo.com, RomeoQua.com.
Okay, spell it for just so people can hear it.
Okay, Romeo, ROMEO, Qua, KWAU. It's an acronym. It's knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and .com.
Okay, I like that. So let me ask you this one more question because I think I got time for about 3 or 4 minutes, right?
Yes.
3 minutes. Okay, so let me ask you this one question. What is one of the joys that you have found from being a person that was not an author and now you are an author? I know it's a lot of them, but
wow, that's a good question. And I said, I'm not supposed to.
That's okay. We have a conversation. We good.
The thing is, just the reaction from people that are interested in the book or have read the book is invigorating. It's energizing. You know, just I mean, they're reading a part of me. You know, it's wonderful.
It's wonderful.
That's all I can say. It's wonderful.
It is. It is. You know what I like about it? People can like to hear what you say, but I think when they read what you write, it's something different about it because they can't remember everything you say, right?
Okay.
But when you write and put in print, they can go back to chapter 2. They highlight it. They can't like highlight what you say, right? It's like, oh, that's good, but oh, that's good. But in the book, they can highlight like, man, that's good, man. You should see this. They can show people like, look what he said, look what she said in the book. So that's what I like about it. I'm glad it's you know, and I try to say this every edition when I speak with an independent author. That's why I only interview independent authors.
Okay.
Only. I have no interest in interviewing any person that's not independent authors. For one, I know how tough it is. 2, I know how joyful it is. And I know sometimes people confuse popularity with greatness.
Okay.
They think people are great because they're popular. And they think people aren't great because they aren't popular. And I met some wonderful people like yourself No, you may not be known all over the planet, but I know I'm sitting in front of greatness. You understand what I'm saying?
Thank you.
And that's why I have you here, because I know that, you're a great dude, great guy, and you got some awesome information. And I want people to take advantage of it. Go to unknowngreatness.com.
Yes.
I want them to email you if they have questions, know about, and you know what would be good for those of you all that have book clubs. This would be an excellent book to start off your book club with. You can purchase it, all 10 of your friends. Matter of fact, you can start your book club in 30 days, get the book, and then all y'all can read and come back. And then you have Romeo personally, because not too many people can get in contact with the author. You know that, right?
Right.
A lot of books people read, you can't, like, man, that's a good book, man. I wish I can find that person. And they really don't have that relationship, but they can have a relationship and say, I'm going to hit Romeo up at Romeo Hall at hotmail.com and ask him, can he do a conference call with us, with all 10 of the people in our book club?
Yes.
See, that's talking about it. See,
That is possible.
That's why I do this. See, because it's accessibility
Yes.
to real people that wrote real books that you want to read. So I do like this. So it's been an awesome opportunity, man. I'm really honored to have you sitting here with me, man. We talked numerous times. We're gonna talk numerous more, but to have the opportunity to interview you, to have you there to share some things about your book, and I really do appreciate it, Romy. I really do, man.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
It's been a blast.
Thank you. And until next time, y'all, this is Dr. Anthony Gann on IntellectualRadio.com, signing off, and see you next edition on the Great Authors Show. See you next time.